In Southeast Asia, a version of Mancala is shared by the countries that make up the region where players will possess more or less seeds at the beginning of any given game based upon how well they played the game before. But regardless of how many seeds a player might happen to lose, it will not necessarily end the game, for those with enough skill and determination can come back from said situation and claim victory in the end. Greetings and welcome to Checkpoint Gaming Mancala. With this episode, we'll be going over Congklak. With Congklak, which is also known as Congkak, Congka, Dakon, and Sungka, it is a Southeast Asian version of Mancala. Played between two players, they'll need a Congklak board that consists of a 2x7 pattern and use 98 seeds. But if the board is 2x6 in design, then 72 seeds are needed. With the game's objective, it is to have one player claim as many seeds as possible and place them into their given store, which is found connected to the board and is found to the player's left. With the direction of play, it is done in a clockwise direction. In order to be declared the winner, the player will have to either possess the most seeds found in their store or to be the last person to run out of seeds on their side of the board. At the start of the game, each player is to count out 7 seeds into each pit found on their side of the board, leaving their store empty upon doing so. But if the board is in possession of more or less than 7 pits on either side, then each player is to fill each pit with seeds equal in number to the number of pits found on one side of the board. From there, the players will need to determine who the first player is going to be. To start the game, the first player is to take all of the seeds found on any pit found on their side of the board and sow them in a clockwise direction, with 1 seed being sown into each pit, with the aim of reaching their own store. When sowing, the player isn't to sow a seed into the opposing store. If a player sows their last seed into a pit, the following is to be done. If the pit has seeds found in it, the player is to take all of the seeds in it, even if it's found on the opponent's side of the board, and put them into their given store, followed by moving around the board just like they did at the beginning of the game. But if the pit is empty, then the player is to leave the seed within said pit with their turn coming to an end. From there, the opposing player is to take their turn. If the last pit is the player's given store, the player is to take another turn. From there, take all of the seeds from any pit found on the player's side of the board, with play continuing around it. If the pit is empty, is found upon the player's side of the board, and the player went around the board at least once, they're to take the last seed and all of the seeds that are found in the opponent's pit that is found directly across from the player's pit, and put them into their given store. From there, it is the opponent's turn, with play continuing in the same manner. The round is to come to an end when one player runs out of seeds on their side of the board, which will cause the other player to be deemed the winner. With the winner of the round, they're to be the first player of the following round. At the end of a round, both players are to take all of their seeds out of their store and any that remain on their side and recount them into each pit found on their side of the board, starting with the pit that is found nearest to their given store. If either player is in possession of any leftover seeds after recounting, then they're to put all of these extra seeds into their given store. Since the player who lost will not have enough seeds to put the required amount into each pit, they will have some pits that possess a lesser amount. Because of this, they're to fill in as many pits as possible with the required seeds and split the remaining seeds up amongst the remaining pits found upon their side of the board. The pits that possess the fewer seeds are located closest to the opposing player's store and are dependent upon the number of seeds that remain after the previous round of play. But with that said, there should never be less than 3 pits. If the player is particularly low on seeds, it can lead to some of these pits being empty. With these pits that possess fewer seeds, they're protected from their opponent during this given round. As the player who won the last round makes their way around the board, they're to skip these given pits, and neither player is able to take seeds from them. But with that said, the player who owns these pits is able to sow seeds into them. Seeds found in these pits are also protected when the opposing player ends their movement by sowing their last seed into an empty pit that is found across from them. This is an important handicap, as the player who possesses at least 1 seed in their rightmost pit can always continue the round on their side of the board. With the second and any successive rounds, the player who is to begin play is the one who runs out of seeds last in the previous round. Play is to continue in successive rounds until one player has lost all of their seeds, or the players wish to stop, at which time the players are to count the seeds in order to determine who is in possession of the most seeds, making them the winner. So with that said, that is what you need to know about how to go about playing Congklak. With that taken care of, we can start talking about how to go about playing Kala. If you liked this episode, feel free to give it a like. And if you want to stay up to date on any future episodes we upload, go ahead and subscribe. You can also support us on Patreon for as little as $1 a month at patreon.com/checkpointgaming. See you in the next episode, and happy gaming.